Hello everybody. In this video, I would like to show you the faulty TESTO vacuum gauge 552i with a Pirani sensor. Please watch the video to the end. I have been a loyal customer of TESTO since 2007, and all my measuring equipment has been from TESTO. I trusted their products, but it seems my trust was misplaced. I was one of the first purchasers of TESTO's digital manifold 560 in 2007. Some of you may not have even seen that model. Then I upgraded to 570, and in late 2023, I purchased the new gauge set 570S with the external vacuum gauge 552i, hoping to acquire a reliable vacuum gauge. On my first use, I noticed something was wrong with the readings. To investigate, I set up a test and discovered 3 major problems with the gauge. I recorded the test results in a video and sent it to TESTO's headquarters along with my inquiries. They did not respond and redirected me to their regional office. After exchanging around 20 emails, the regional office representative was unable to address my questions. I wrote to the headquarters again, and a person there sent me a surprising response, claiming that if there is moisture, the 552i sensor cannot show its performance. I wonder, and I ask you, if everything is always okay inside the refrigeration system, why would one need an accurate vacuum gauge? Thus, I decided to make this video to inform other users and urge caution when evacuating a system using this so-called new technology. This video demonstrates a simple test setup to evaluate TESTO's 552i vacuum gauge with a Pirani sensor. We also use TESTO's older model 552 with an absolute sensor and TESTO 570 with an internal vacuum sensor to compare their performance in evacuating refrigeration systems. The 570 and the older model 552 have barometric sensors. They detect the atmospheric pressure and start the vacuum from there. But the 570S gauge manifold does not have a barometric sensor, and one must input the atmospheric pressure manually. The surprising part is, whatever pressure is entered, it does not affect the vacuum pressure. This was one of my questions for TESTO that nobody answered. Also, a dial vacuum gauge is added to see how this acts when moisture is present. The setup is connected to a jar containing water to simulate moisture in the system. Everyone in the refrigeration trade knows that moisture in the system must be detected using vacuum pressure. The purpose of evacuation in any refrigeration system is to remove non-condensables, eliminate moisture, and ensure the system is moisture-free before charging the refrigerant. The vacuum pump is started, and the pressure is decreasing. You can see that these two gauges read around 20 and 14 millibars and show a slow decrease, but the 552i shows around 3.5 millibars. Even now, an experienced engineer can realize that something is wrong. But with the 552i, the pressure is very low. Now the vacuum pump is off, and you can see the readings on these two gauges increase immediately, but the 552i stays at low pressure. The 570 and the older model 552 don't show the same pressure because their accuracies are different, but still, with the 570, one can easily detect moisture. Now I close the valve connecting the jar to the manifold and turn the vacuum pump on. Only the hoses are under vacuum, and the pressure is decreasing. Then I open the valve to connect the jar to the test setup. The pressure in Testo's older models increases to the vapor pressure, but the new Testo 552i shows very little increase. Even the dial type is showing an increase. The most accurate one is the older model 552 with the absolute sensor, which shows the water vapor pressure at that temperature. The temperature of the water is around 23 or 24 degrees Celsius, and the vapor pressure should be around 28 to 29 millibars at that temperature, and this gauge shows 27.7 millibars. I leave the setup under vacuum for some time and you can see how the pressure changes in 552i gauge. Please pay attention to the time and pressure. You can see that even over time, the pressure reading in 552i does not change much. After more than 2 hours, the reading in 552i is still 5.6 millibars. At the end of this video, I would like to emphasize the major problems of Testo's vacuum gauge 552i with Pirani sensor. 1. Vacuum pressure is consistently measured in absolute terms. In the Testo 570s, atmospheric pressure serves as an input for displaying low and high pressures in absolute form. However, it appears that atmospheric pressure is not factored into the measurement of vacuum pressure. Altering the atmospheric pressure appears to have no impact on vacuum pressure readings. Notably, Testo 570 and 552 gauges automatically measure atmospheric pressure, and vacuum readings commence from this pressure. Even dial-type vacuum gauges have to be compensated for atmospheric pressure. 2. Accurate measurement of vacuum pressure is crucial for diagnosing the presence of moisture in the system. The 552i registers vacuum pressure below 26 millibars, and beyond this point, no pressure readings are displayed. Given that water vapor pressure at 22 degrees Celsius is approximately 26 millibars, even if the 552i shows correct pressure below 26 millibars, which it does not, what happens if the ambient temperature is above 22 degrees Celsius and moisture is present? The gauge will show nothing, and one cannot recognize that there is a leak in the system or moisture is present. At first, I thought that my sensor was faulty and acquired another new sensor, but they both behaved exactly the same way. I even tested Testo's 552 gauge with a Pirani sensor, which is physically similar to the old model. However, this gauge also behaved the same way. My conclusion is that the Pirani sensor is not suitable for use in a vacuum gauge in refrigeration systems. Thank you for watching this video, and be aware if you are using TESTO's 552i vacuum gauge, otherwise your system could be in serious jeopardy.